Michael was fast. His height gave him a distinct advantage over his brother. Rebel was only 5'8" and had stopped to catch his breath at the mouth of the woods, either because he was winded or because he didn't feel like continuing the chase. Rebel wasn't exactly known for making an effort when Michael was there to do the work. The girl was a decent runner. Michael caught a glimpse of her dirty white t-shirt as she weaved through the trees. She held her bound arms out in front of her, her bare feet stomping a forest floor blanketed in last year's leaves. She veered left. Michael broke away from her, going right instead. He knew these woods as well as the interior of the house. Right was faster than left. He'd cut her off at Misty's favorite spot, a hill that overlooked the great Appalachian Valley, trees as far as the eye could see. He splashed across a small creek and circled around to where he knew she'd end up. Left would take her to a steep embankment covered in birch and aspen trees. Right would take Michael around the hill to a gentler grade, allowing him to outrun her and wait for her at the crest of the slope. When he got to the top of the hill, he could already hear her strangled, struggling breaths. She scrambled up to what she hoped was escape, crying and trying to pray while she gasped for air, muttering something about God and help. Ducking behind the trunk of an oak, he watched her climb the hill. She spun around and looked down at the valley below her, empty of any pursuer, but also devoid of any roads or houses or clues of which way she should run. But that didn't seem to matter. The terror on her face blossomed into hope. She had outrun her attackers. She had saved herself. Soon, she'd be a face on the news, giving interviews about how some charming guy in a brown Oldsmobile had picked her up while she'd been hitchhiking along State Road 10. Michael hated chasing down the ones who managed to break away, hated how he extinguished the flash of dogged optimism that sparked in their eyes. He couldn't stand the way they looked at him, as though he'd walked in on a private moment. He despised the way their eyes grew to twice their original size, and their mouths worked the air as though chewing invisible food. He liked it better when they died in the yard, where all he had to deal with was an unblinking stare and a slashed throat. People were much easier to deal with when they were dead. He gritted his teeth and stepped out from behind the tree.